For players who know our concepts and know our principles and who come in frequently, I've been mixing things up with our hitting routine. After we spend a few minutes of warming up, I remind a player, stop trying to hit the ball. Stop being a hitter and change that, replace that, be a racer. Race the ball to the starting line and win the race at the finish line. After we warmed up, I do this. I stand back and I pitch from the full windup about 50 feet away and I throw 5 pitches. And I only account for the strikes I threw to him. And I asked the hitter, how'd you do? Now this is where it gets interesting because the question how you did is pertaining to your results, your hitting outcomes. They're about to reveal to you their criteria of how they judge their hitting outcomes. When they throw 5 pitches and they hit the ball squarely on the barrel and they're hitting line drives or some pop-ups or ground balls, a lot of my students will say, hey, I did pretty good. And then I go back and I throw 5 more pitches. But this time, after 5 pitches, I don't ask them, hey, how did you think you did? I'll say to them, you were 1 for 5. And I get that strange look. What do you mean? Very early in our hitting sessions together, I train the students to recognize how do we judge a good hitting result, a good hitting outcome. I tell them, look, we are in a controlled, predictable setting. I show you the same delivery, just about the same speed. The only variable you really have to judge and calculate is the space the ball is moving into. Only one variable. The other 2 variables, my pitching delivery and my speed, are pretty consistent. And then I tell the players, in this controlled, predictable environment, if I throw you 5 pitches, how many of those 5 pitches are you aiming to make airplanes out of? To hit the ball at a 20 or 25, 30 degree launch angle without even trying. I'm aiming to hit 5 of these balls like an airplane getting ready to take off into the sky. And then I repeat the process. 5 pitches, take a break, and I tell them what the score is. You were 1 for 5. You were 2 for 5. You were 3 for 5. 4 for 5. Very rarely will I find somebody that hits 5 out of 5 pitches for airplanes. Okay, so what's the purpose? What's the direction? Where are we taking this? I tell the student, look, I'm here to be a counselor and advisor for your hitting. The purpose of this drill is to train you to be your best hitting coach. You see, when I pitch you a ball from the same visual demands you may experience in a game, and I throw a ball that's right down the middle of the plate and you pop it up or you roll it over, I'm training you to examine that outcome. Why did it happen that way? And basically, I'm giving you 10 seconds between pitches to apply the principles of hitting perception and figure out what do I need to do to avoid making that mistake again. And this is where I step in after every 5 pitches and offer a suggestion. As a hitting coach and hitting researcher, this is where it gets even more interesting. When the player is still struggling and they can't figure out how to systematically stop making the same mistakes and they can't apply these principles, these very simple principles about perception and your senses in a moving object, that I offer a very simple hitting tip. Okay, I'll tell the players this. This round, here's your drill. Just react. That's the drill. Just react. Now sometimes just reacting puts the hitter at ease and they start to perform better. And yet other times I'll tell the player, you know what, this next round, just react, and they're even worse. Now I have 2 coaching replies to give to each hitter. The one hitter who just reacts and hits better, and then I have another reply for the hitter who just tries to react and they hit even worse. For the first hitter who hits better when they just do the drill, I'm just going to react. After their hitting round is over, I'll give them the score. You were 3 for 5, 4 for 5. And I ask them, why do you think you hit better? And then they say this to me, well, coach, you just told me to react to the ball. I didn't feel as much tension. I didn't feel as much pressure. And then I say, okay, that's wonderful. So not having tension and not having pressure allowed you to pay more attention to the ball. It allowed you to become more fixated, consumed, and obsessed from where the ball is coming from and where the ball is going. And then they agree. For the other player who's doing the just react drill with me and doesn't hit better, I ask them, is just reacting helping you? And they say, no, it's not. And then for both players, I say something like this. When someone asks you just to react, when you react, is there thinking involved? When you react, is there calculations involved? When you react, is there processing involved? Some players reply and they say, yes, I do think, I do process, I do calculate. But most of the time, players and even parents, when I ask this question, they'll say, no, when you just react, you don't think. And then I share some rules with neuroscience and I tell them, no. Neuroscientists tell us this. In order for a human being to move the body, you must think. When you're dealing with a rapid moving object, the thinking, the calculating, the processing happens so quickly, you don't realize you just did it. Bang, bang, it's over. And then I show them these slides. Quote of the day: the habit of staying focused. It's not the number of hours you practice. It's about the number of hours your mind is present during the practice. Kobe Bryant. Then I play this clip with Mookie Betts. Listen to the narrator and what he says about being focused and concentrating.
The focus and concentration of these reps is amazing. It's clear that he's working on something specific that he knows that he wants to show up in his swing. The focus and concentration of these reps is amazing. It's clear that he's working on something specific that he knows that he wants to show up in his swing.
Can someone focus? Can someone concentrate without thinking and calculating and processing? No, they can't. Look, Kobe Bryant is an expert at basketball. Mookie Betts is an expert at baseball. I read a book that was published in the year 2008. It was called Talent is Overrated by Jeff Colvin. Jeff was the editor of the Fortune 500 magazine. One key idea that was profiled in the book was the 10,000 hour rule. What Jeff had come to understand, people who were experts in business, in finance, people who were experts in acting, in comedy, people who were professional athletes, all these people who were experts in their field and in their craft, they had a common thread. All of these experts trained, prepared, studied their craft 10,000 hours or more. But wait, here's the big part. They practiced and they trained these 10,000 hours to be experts in their crafts. And when they practiced, it wasn't mindless practice. It wasn't casual practice. It was intentional, deliberate practice with purpose. Practice with the design, practice with focus, practice with concentration. This goes back to my batting practice. I give you 5 pitches. The goal is to hit 5 airplanes. The purpose is to self-evaluate your performance, evaluate your training, evaluate your concepts, your principles. Are they working for me or something off? How do I fix it? And ideally, you want to practice under the constraints, the demands that are similar to your competition. I want to help you. I want to help your son and your daughter. Look, these 5 pitches I give my hitters in BP, if they're messing up, it's usually not because of their swing mechanics. It's not because they need more bat speed. They're messing up because they're misjudging the ball. Their senses are off. Their perception is twisted. This is our specialty. I'm Dave Kirilloff, languageofhitting.com, and with the Kirilloff Baseball School in Anna, Texas. Stop spending time and start investing time. Your player's clock is ticking away. Make the investment back into your son or daughter because they're worth it. Get our online hitting course, invite me to come to your hometown, or come visit us in Anna, Texas.